Now for companies in the seasoned category, things have been moving a little bit. You've gained some traction and your business is starting to really flesh itself out and prove that people are willing to pay for your services or your products. So when it comes to income, seasoned businesses are in that $100,000 to $500,000 range. So you got your first 6 figures under your belt, but now you're pushing towards $500,000. So here, your primary revenue question turns into, how do I convert my skills into systems? Having worked with countless business owners, we see oftentimes that the first 100K comes from that hardcore grind and hustle, but in order to make that a sustained reality, we need to start converting these skills into systems if we haven't already done so. So what does that mean? That means we need to create processes that are set up to occur automatically without you having to start from scratch every single time. Now, this isn't a comprehensive list, but what we want to see you do is remove those necessary but repetitive tasks off of your plate and make sure that you're not spending your entire day in hustle mode. Rather, we want you creating systems that leverage technology and your team in order to make your company and your life run smoother. When you do this, it greatly enhances your client and customer experience, which grows your business even more. Now, when it comes to your game-changing tax strategy, we want to add on top of the strategy that's already been established. So you're still going to use that S Corp. It's still going to save you thousands of dollars every year, as we discussed, but now we want to focus on legally converting your personal expenses into business expenses. I have another training called the Tax Savings Masterclass, and that's where we focus on a strategy called the conversion principle. Now, the conversion principle states that we can convert what would have been personal expenses into legitimate business expenses by adding a legitimate business activity. This is a very powerful strategy, and this is what we use to write off your life. As you push towards that $500,000, we want to incorporate and integrate your business around your entire life. So this has us asking, what does it look like to take your home-based business and use it to start writing off house expenses legitimately? What does it look like to take that home office and cultivate business savings around there? What does it look like to incorporate what would have been regular travel and convert it into legitimate business travel? What does it look like to buy a new car and actually have that save you thousands of dollars as a business write-off instead of just costing you thousands of dollars as a personal expense? All of these are things that we would have spent money on before and can now legitimately be taken as write-offs and deductions, and this decreases your taxes and puts more money into your pocket. So now the question we have to ask is, what's holding you back? Like we've been talking about before, as you move into this area, you're going to be experiencing a lot of growth in your business. You know, the marketing is working, you have referrals, you have word of mouth, and now people are coming to you. So what we want to do now is make sure that we're creating standard operating procedures that are used throughout the company. Make sure that you're creating a team that operates on the same page. You want people that join your team to be able to hit the ground running. That's why those uniform SOPs are so important. When every team member in your business understands how things are done, the client experience remains consistent and excellent. When it comes to focus, we want to make sure that you've gone from a paper LLC to a performing LLC. We've talked about this before, but now it's even more crucial because the more your business grows, the more you have something to lose. Unfortunately, we live in a litigious world where people really don't have a problem suing others. So you have to make sure that you have a performing LLC and not a paper LLC. And what's even great about this is that when you set up your entity properly, from the legal standpoint, you can incorporate some of the tax strategies that we've discussed. Most importantly, we want you to have a business that's successful, bringing in good money and legally protected. We want your internal documents and corporate formalities to be on point, and we want you to have that confidence and peace of mind that comes from a rock-solid legal foundation. When it comes to the power team, we want you to bring on an accountant. At this point, we need a specialist who understands your business, someone who can provide guidance and direct your overall financial game plan throughout the year. Your bookkeeper was a strong setup to make sure that you had your things organized, but now we want you working with an accountant who's going to be thinking long-term, someone who's going to be thinking strategically and advising you towards projections into the future. When it comes to long-term planning, this is where we would recommend you consider our monthly membership services. At the Uba Law Group, we have legal support for businesses that are growing like yours. Our monthly subscriptions provide you with a variety of services that include regular one-on-one attorney business meetings to discuss the state of your company and plan out any legal moves you need to make as your company is growing. All sorts of crucial legal projects that your company will need help with as well. The end result is that you have peace of mind that your legal is covered and you can legit be able to say, let me run that by my lawyer. When it comes to assets, we want to make sure that your intellectual property is protected. This will likely include trademarks and perhaps some copyright registration. As the business is growing, the brand is growing, you're hitting that $500,000, you need to make sure that your IP is protected and you have a brand that you actually own. You cannot afford to grow a business to $500,000 and not own that brand. You need to own your intellectual property so you don't have to start from the bottom again and go through an expensive rebrand. Trust me, I've seen it happen to businesses. It ain't pretty and it ain't cheap. That's why we put the step here so it doesn't happen to you. Also, at this point, you need to add quarterly meetings with your accountant to the routine. So on top of having your books on point and meeting regularly with your attorney, you need to make sure that the overarching tax strategy is set up and that your accountant knows what's going on throughout the year so you don't get hit with a big surprise come tax time.